So today, ChatGPT is like a companion. So you start chatting and having a conversation with someone that actually has all the information that IKEA has. So they are an expert. The GPT that we managed to build has all IKEA's information and background and content. So it knows about you, what you bought, the colors that you like, the size of your apartment, the floor you're in for delivery. GPT can ask you, hey, how did it go? The wood table you bought, would you like to buy some chairs now? Yes or no? So it has a conversation, right? For us, it's helping us a lot, ends into a good conversation, engagement, conversion, you name it. And yeah, results have been really, really good. As now we have like 5% conversion rate. So it's like, as you know, it's quite a lot, more than double the average.
My name is Jochem van der Veer. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called TheyDo, the journey management platform for business decision making. We raised over $50 million and are growing globally. Our enterprise customers include Ford, J&J, the Home Depot, and Pfizer. I mean, wherever you look, understanding customers is key to staying ahead. But in order to do this at scale, aligning so many different teams with the customer journey is incredibly hard, but it is possible. I really wish this podcast existed before we started our company because so many companies are organizing around journeys and there's so much to learn. So in order to share what I'm learning, what I'm hearing with our community, I meet with industry experts. And in my video podcast, I'm here to explore the world of business strategy, design, and journeys, customer journeys, to really get an understanding of how leaders are changing their way in their business. So let's dive into the show. So my guest today is Martin Villanueva, IKEA's global customer engagement lead. He has a track record of pushing boundaries at global brands like McDonald's, Nike, Adidas, and now IKEA. Combining strategic thinking, creativity, and a data-driven mindset, he delivers results in every project. And he is also a keynote speaker on the topic. As an accomplished athlete, which we might dive into, and a former captain of the university football team, Martin honed leadership and teamwork skills while competing in Australia's Premier League. With career experience across continents, including Buenos Aires, the Netherlands, Panama, and Peru, he studied in Hong Kong and New York. He truly brings a global perspective to the work. So I am beyond excited to have you here. Martin, welcome to the pod.
Thank you, Hashim. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
So I want to start with the elephant in the room, right? You've worked at amazing brands and are currently at an amazing brand. So Nike, Adidas, McDonald's, today, IKEA. From the outside in, fantastic brands. Over time, they've built massive, massive loyalty across their customers, and everyone knows them. But the customer experience is so different in all of them. So maybe like when you started at IKEA, it's a few years back already, but when you started, how would you walk us through your understanding of like what does customer experience, what does the customer actually mean at IKEA, and how is it different to all these other brands? Like what do they do differently, and how did you learn what customer experience really means at IKEA?
Well, to start with, I'm still learning, so I wouldn't say I know exactly or perfectly how it works, but we try our best, and we are trying every single day to improve how we read and how we understand customer journeys. So, yeah, you're correct. Every single company has its own approach and their own differences around customer journeys or experiences. To start with, Nike and Adidas, where I worked previously, they come from a sports industry. So the journeys start in many different ways than a retail furniture design retailer, right? Like IKEA. So my first, the first thing I noticed is that people come, or consumers come much more to the stores at IKEA rather than at Nike and Adidas, because also the age customer or the average age customer is different in each industry. So that to start with. So I came from a very digital oriented mindset with Adidas and Nike, and that's where they are investing, right? They want more and more digital customers, rather than IKEA, which the experience is different. When you're buying furniture for your home, you would like to see it, you would like to experience it, you would like to have a look at it. So people come much more to the stores. So I had to add and understand that in their journey, their retail store is pretty much incorporated to the whole experience. So yeah, that's what I will say. That's the main difference. IKEA has a much more physical approach, and Nike and Adidas have a very much omni-channel approach when it comes to customer journeys.
So when you think about customer loyalty, I mean, maybe first, like, is loyalty still a thing? We talk about customer engagement, we talk about customer experience, we talk about the link between customer needs and the business. Loyalty sometimes seems to have lost a little bit of its relevance and is like an ancient concept. What's your take on loyalty, and how is that different? Because there are some really deeply loyal customers to IKEA. Like the moment they think about having something new in their home, they go to IKEA. Some will think about it from a very practical application part, where some things are easy to get from IKEA. But myself, I order online from IKEA now because I know the brand, I know what I'm going to get, and I know what I need to have. So no point in going to the store. But what does loyalty mean in maybe in IKEA's context, but maybe like in your definition? Does it still exist? Loyalty, is that still a thing?
Well, it is still a thing, and I think it will continue to grow. Like the concept changed, and I agree with you. It's like an ancient, not ancient, but it comes from a very long time. Where it started with the retail membership paid loyalty services, like Costco, for example. Like they had these programs that you had to pay for, and you had benefits with those. And then it kind of changed through the time, and I think it will continue changing. But it's not ancient. It's something very, very relevant today. So I will say it will continue, but it will continue differently with AI. I mean, everything changed with AI, and how we will do loyalty and how we do it today. It changed, and it will change forever. I think this is a turning point with AI, and how we do personalization, how we do hyper personalization, how we can approach customers, how we can read data faster, better. So loyalty programs are going to change, but we will continue having them and many brands will continue investing much more on loyalty because of the benefits it brings, right?
So talk to me about the benefits. Like loyalty, obviously, like earning a bunch of points, getting discounts, the basics. That's one thing. You're leading customer engagement. It's like keeping people engaged with the brand in simple terms. What about the benefits? Like, how do you think about loyalty benefits so that loyalty is still a big thing? How do you think about them?
Well, for each company is different, what the consumers expect, right? And we always need to think about the consumers and what they want from us, from the brand, right? What they are expecting. It's all around expectations. So if you build a loyalty program, and you don't think about the consumers and what your product is, what your services are, and you just think what's going to be your benefit as a company, you're screwed. Like, that's not how it's done. You need to actually understand what they want, and what it brings value to them, to the consumer. So if you got that correct, you will generate value. You will generate something engaging for the consumers, and they will be that way more keen to keep engaged with your brand and keep buying from you and keep coming and keep understanding that the data they are providing to you and they are open to give brings value to them. And you will say, okay, what's the value? The value is a benefit. Yeah, sometimes it is a benefit, like tangible benefits, like a discount, or buy this and we'll give you 2 hot dogs when you finish your purchase, or free delivery. Yes, those are very tangible benefits. But then it comes to a point where we all give the same, right? All brands are giving you free shipping, or they are giving you, not hot dogs, but they are giving you different stuff while you purchase, or discounts. So the big challenge now is, how do we give more emotional, that's what we call emotional benefits, emotional value to the transaction and to that moment we have with the consumer. And that's a big challenge. And that's what we call in the industry the emotional loyalty program, or create that love with the brand through the loyalty program. And I think that's the challenge we are all having. Like, how do we do it? And how do we do it? And how do we do it so it doesn't look creepy? Like, hey, we know you. We know what you want. We know what you bought, and we know the moment you're at. But how do we make it? It's not like creepy. Oh, you have a kid now, so you need a Nest. Oh, how do you know this? Like, what are you doing with my data, right? So, if you ask me, that's the big challenge we all have.
So when you talk about creepy, I think that's a good angle to balance the emotional benefits. How do you know that you're not creepy? How do you know you're reaching emotional benefits? Like, is there a way to measure that? Or is there like a lagging indicator for success? Is it like truly being your team on top of things, understanding customers, being with them? Like, how do you know you're creating that emotional connection, that love, and that, like, in simple terms, loyalty? How do you know that?
That's a great question. It's very difficult to measure love, right? To measure how people love there's the love brand KPIs, which is for the brand. But for a loyalty program, you can measure it on use of the benefit you're providing, for example. And you will say, okay, this worked, or this didn't, or they didn't like it, or they didn't come to this experience we are giving to them. And that's how you kind of level the reaction of your members. And then when you go to the creepy side, your question, like, it's a very thin line today with AI, because yes, AI has opened so many doors to us, in the sense of, hey, I know Hoshem bought this and this and that, so now the next email is around this, right? Well, but maybe Hoshem has been buying all these things for his sister, or I don't know, for someone else. I don't know that. AI doesn't know that. So imagine I send you something for a little baby. Hey, congratulations on your newborn baby, etc., etc. And you might receive this like, what is this? Like, this is really creepy. I'm not a father. I'm not looking, like, it could be really, really weird to do it that way. So what I would say is, we still need a lot of human or people behind these processes and ideas to not feel creepy, I will say.
What other doors has AI opened for you that you can speak of without being creepy? Like, what are some of the doors that have now opened and you're experimenting with?
There are a lot. I can tell you an example that we are doing with GPT, for example, in the US. It's a test for now, very, very small. But we started playing with AI into the consumer facing aspect, not in the behind the scenes background data management. So today, ChatGPT is like a companion in this test for you, Hoshem or Martin or whoever. Like, so you start chatting and having a conversation with someone that actually has all the information that IKEA has. So they are an expert. The GPT that we managed to build has all IKEA's information and background and content. So it knows a lot. So for instance, you can be logged in. You can do it as a guest. So if you're logged in, your experience is much seamless. And we have information about you, what you bought, the colors that you like, the size of your apartment, etc., the floor you're in for delivery. So we have a lot of things. So if you go that way, GPT can ask you, "Hey, how did it go? The wood table you bought. Would you like to buy some chairs now? Yes or no?" So it has a conversation, right? And it gives you options around all the range that IKEA has and the things that will be or correspond to that design of the table and the design of your apartment. So for us, it's helping us a lot into having a conversation without having a human or without having Hoshem coming to the store, having a look or deciding with a person at that moment. So it helps both. It brings value to the consumer and brings value to IKEA because, of course, it ends into a good conversation, engagement, conversion, you name it. And yeah, results have been really, really good. As now we have like 5% conversion rate. So it's like, as you know, it's quite a lot. It's more than double the average. So yeah, it's going really, really well.
So this is for the online part. I mean, having a digital shopping assistant almost like at your disposal that knows your preferences and can match really well is fantastic. But you mentioned like the store plays a critical role in almost every customer journey. This sounds like challenging that, right? When this becomes super successful, do people need to go to the store? Do people need to go less to the store, want to go less to the store? How do you think these kind of experiments will play out? Because if you optimize for conversion rate, it'll be great. And I mean, a lot of digital today, like if we have local maximum, like optimizing this little page for maximum conversion, we might break other things. Like, how does this play out over time when AI becomes so good and you actually don't need to go to the store anymore and it really works from your home in situation? Like, where do you see this going?
That's another great question. I think AI, as it is now or as it is projected, we don't need to be afraid of it. And I mean afraid of fighting within the digital world and the physical world and fighting for, I don't know, space. I don't see it that way. I see it as a complement. So if you like to go to the store, Hashem, you like to go to the store, right? You like to feel, you like to sense, you like to sit in a chair, in a couch, to see the bedroom. Yes, technology will come in. Technology, we might do a room with all screens and you will be like in your house and see everything done. But it would help, right? It will complement the physical world. And it will get so good, as you said, will get so good in the digital world that it would help us also. Make it seamless, make it better, make it a good experience, because today there are not so many good experiences online, I think we still need to do quite a lot. And I say we as an industry.
So let's talk about, you mentioned data management and a seamless digital experience. I mean, in large companies, siloed teams can really have an impact on the customer experience if they work together. But then you do need to have that layer of connectivity. And that's where still humans are essential to keep that in. But before we talk a little bit about the role of AI and unifying that data, for folks listening, can you explain your leading customer engagement? You're collaborating with many different parts of IKEA. Like, what is your team setup? What are your stakeholders? Just to give us a sense of like where in IKEA you typically set your work.
Perfect. Yeah, so my role is global, and I work for the franchisor, IKEA franchisor. So this is something that not many people know, but IKEA operates as a franchisor system. So we operate with franchisees, right? We have IKEA, which is Inter IKEA, as a franchisor, and then you have all the franchisees. So there are many, many franchisees around the world operating IKEA. So first thing that we need to understand is that my team works and cooperates with all these franchisees around the world with many different perspectives, many different markets, and many different situations, right? And then another thing we need to understand is that there are different franchisees. So we speak to one, and then we speak to another, and then we speak to another. So you were saying about the silos. So we have like internal silos, and then we have like external silos within our franchisees. So it incorporates one challenge ahead, like one more challenge to the current status. So yeah, that's how we are set as a company today. Yeah, that's what we do. And then internally, we are not a very big team. But of course, we have a lot of agencies and consultancies that work for us into building the strategies, building the concept, which we call it. We call everything we do here, it's a concept. And within that concept, it has all the parameters and all the playbook and the guardrails to protect the brand, right? And protect the concept of IKEA. So it's everywhere the same.
So what you say is from the global Inter IKEA, where you're part of, you develop these new concepts, improving customer engagement, I suppose. Yeah. And then once it's tested out, it will be rolled out to all the franchisees?
Exactly.
And is that like, okay, you have to do it, you can do it? Is it a buffet of options? Like, do they get like, here's all the things that work, you pick yours? Or do you make local versions? Because I can imagine the IKEA experience in the Netherlands is so different than maybe in the other part of the world. So how does that like play out in practice? Like, what is a good example of something that works across different brands, but not all of them are different franchises?
So I worked for McDonald's as well, which has the same kind of business dynamic. So McDonald's also, there's a global McDonald's, which takes care of the brand, takes care of the products, and then the franchisees in each country do as McDonald's says, right? As not says, but guides. But there are things that are mandatory and things that are not mandatory, right? And you can choose depending on the situation of the country, or you can choose around the needs that you have and the opportunities that you have, or even your P&L. I mean, we can say, hey, do hyper-personalization. That's something we all need to do. And many countries will say, wait, I'm starting to develop my CRM system. Like, how I will do hyper-personalization. So yes, you need to like do a generalistic concept or strategy, and then build use cases that can be taken from each situation and each country and each market. So yeah, such as McDonald's, IKEA, and those business systems work like that.
So when you think about the journeys that are similar in countries, but the nuances that are because of technological maturity in a company like that, not having a CRM or having a fantastic CRM, but also in terms of the customer needs, like, do you like, am I seeing literally like you guys have an overview of like the entire end-to-end experience broken down into like sub journeys and then broken down into specific country and franchise experiences? Like what does that look like in practice?
I'll tell you what we did, which I think it will answer your question. So we have like 3 different customer journeys that we have set globally. We consider different situations, right? Different country situations. The one that is just starting, the one that is a little bit more developed, and the one that we can push a little bit further. So it has like already developed a good system, and they are strong. So in each journey that we did, that they kind of look the same, but we defined opportunities in each moment of interaction. So Hoshem was on social media. He received an ad. What happens after that, right? And what happens in each case? Okay, if you have a integrated CRM system, you can, remarketing, do remarketing, and da 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 da. If you don't, you can actually continue doing and not understanding your audience, etc. Well, and this is your journey. And through these journeys, we started, defining those opportunities and the level of deepness of personalization, for example, that you can do in each moment of interaction. So, yeah, I think you have to be more generalistic and understand each moment that each franchisee has, each country has.
All right. And then if I get it right, so you have like a tried and tested method, and then you apply the different maturities in these 3 journeys. But then the team from the franchisee, do they take what you have, or do you actually coordinate like that journey from a digital perspective from the global brand, and then just roll it out and make sure that the data flows, in this case, into their CRM? Or is it really like, no, they have their own team like Martin has, and then they are executing the strategy? Is it a mix? Like, how do you keep that consistency? Because the franchise formula is definitely not known to customers, right? For them, it's like, I'm in IKEA here, I'm in IKEA there. It's just one brand. So it works. But how does the franchise company then takes your best practice and executes on that? Or do you do it for them?
So we do a lot of trainings with franchisees. We do a lot of workshops together with them, because of course we need to understand as well. We are the global brand, but we need to understand what's happening, right? And what works for them. It's not that we're going to build something that because we want this to be like this and that's it. No, we need to understand and truly go deep into their insights, into their data, and understand it. And that's how we twist, and we can actually make changes or adapt some of these strategies and concepts, right? So it's a two ways work. It's not only like the franchisor has the, I have this idea, do it. No. Let's consensuate. Let's do it together. Let's build it together. And that's how we operate.
Right. And then in terms of measuring that back to the global brand, how do you think about measuring engagement and tracking this? I mean, obviously you have like the basics, like NPS and CSAT, but there's so much more to that. Like, can you share how you think about measuring engagement, and also understanding like when your level 1 franchisee moves up the ladder in terms of maturity? Like how can you tell, like, what are some of the ways that global brands should be thinking about measuring engagement if they have a local distributed setup like IKEA has?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit more technical, to be honest, but we all have a North Star, and that's where we want them all to be. So we think that still customer lifetime value, it's a good KPI to measure on your actions, right? On what you're doing as a franchisee around customer engagement, because what you do, and if you keep doing it correctly, it will speak by itself with CLTV that consumers come back, right? They keep coming back, and they keep engaging with you, interacting with you, buying from you. And that's a really good KPI, because it measures engagement, it measures business, it measures interactions. So there's a lot into it. So I think that's the North Star we all have. And that's where we want all franchisees to be.
And that's the way you can also say this franchise is not working, this one is doing better, or there should be like red, green, yellow. Is it as simple as that once the metric is tooled up?
It is as simple as that. It is. Yeah.
So what do you do when they did not accept your playbook? But in other cases, it has significantly improved their customer lifetime value. Is that not a discussion that's happening because everyone agreed to? Because I can imagine there will be people's opinions. There will be people managing the franchise where they go like, Martin, all great, thank you so much, but we do things differently here. Like, can you give an example of where it was like heart to heart and your data said A, but they choose B, and how that is playing out?
Well, there are some occasions that we say, okay, let's allow it. Let's do it this way. And it's part of a test. And we say, all right, you're doing it this way. Show me the results in 6 months and we'll talk again. And that's on some occasions. On some things you can let a franchisee do. On some other occasions, you of course have several many years of experience doing this and gathering information, gathering data, gathering insights from the whole world. So sometimes you make a point. You say, hey guys, this actually works. This is how we're going to do it. Let's test it out. Okay, but I can do it this way or I want to do it this way. All right. Let's cooperate and see if we can do it that way or not. And if it will get us to the same objective and same KPI. If it doesn't, okay, let's talk about it. Let's see. But there is always collaboration. It's not that we say it's going to be like this. No, just do it this way. No. Okay, let's talk and discuss and say, hey, what do you think about it? And then we adapt and we work together. That's the approach.
When you think about the data-driven approach to this, I mean, a few years back, it was mainly like structured data used to create these conversations. Today, you mentioned already, like AI is changing all the way that we do our work. Like, what role does AI play in maybe like working with your qualitative part of the research that you're doing and also helping people to act faster on it? Like, what are some of the things that are useful where you use AI to actually improve the way to get that cross-functional alignment done, to make decisions faster? Can you speak a bit about what's working for you and your team?
Yes, I think we still have a lot to go. I have just finished some studies at Northwestern University. And what they are saying is that AI will be, and it is already the rule, it is already the base of everything you do. It should be, and it must be integrated on almost everything a company does. Why? Because it's faster, because it can gather much more data than any person, than any software around. It can comprehend that data and analyze it and give you like a response in seconds. So I think the companies that don't apply AI into their day-to-day, they will lose in the end. They will be left behind in this competitiveness, or how do you say it? Like in this race to be customer centric. So yeah, that's what I will say. I think AI should. We should. I don't know the English word. Like, we should embrace AI into our day to day. The people and companies that are battling against AI, I think they will lose the fight very, very soon. So yeah.
Was IKEA fast to adopt policies to allow teams to experiment, to be free to use AI on their data and use it for their best judgment, or use it in their best judgment? Was that easy in such a big company to get done?
Yeah, you will say maybe the contrary, because big companies tend to be slow and tend to be like, okay, we need to check. But the day I arrived to IKEA, they were already working with GPT, and they were all already working into having a platform just for IKEA. And I was quite surprised because many people, many friends of mine and many professionals use public ChatGPT to do their work and at their companies. And I don't know where that data is going, or I don't know who is going to use it or who can see. But then many companies have the option to actually have their own GPT, have their own AI integrated with the company's information, the company's values, and the company's experience all into one place. And we can chat and interact through Teams with IKEA's GPT, for example. And that's very much integrated to our day-to-day. So you are not putting any confidential information into a place that I don't know where it's going, But yeah, so if you ask me, IKEA is quite advanced in that sense, already doing a test customers facing at the US. We have also a lot of things coming for the app, for the IKEA app. So yeah, I will say it was very, very fast.
If you're enjoying this conversation, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast channel and leave a review. It makes all the difference. The Experience Edge podcast is where I interview business leaders, CX pioneers, and the best designers who share their insight on creating business impact, having an edge on the customer experience. If you want more exclusive content and behind-the-scenes access, check out the Experience Edge podcast on YouTube and LinkedIn so you don't miss a thing. Now let's get back to the conversation. There's many companies that are doing what you're seeing, right? They're building custom bots in Teams or Slack and interact with their data in that way. How do you know it's right? Because the black box is today, that's the problem today, right? We don't know yet what it's based on. The reasoning is obviously something that's invisible, especially when you interact with your bots. And the instantification of insights, I mean, it's a topic that's on my mind. Like, it's very easy to get an answer. You'll always get an answer. But the question is it the right answer? So teams will go into Teams or Slack and chat with your knowledge bot or even your customer experience bot. And we'll get an answer. But what if it's wrong? Like, how do you make sure that the data is actually right? The answer is actually right. And do you have a framework for helping your teams understand when to use this, when not to use it? What is good practice? What is bad practice? How do you know if the data is right? Do you have anything you can share on making sure this actually works and it's not like a nice test and we get like great answers but wrong answers?
Yes. First thing I will say, be careful with AI. I know I've been selling AI the whole conversation, but there's always like, hey, be careful, right? Your question is perfect because we need to also understand that AI is not always correct. AI doesn't have all the answers, even though it gives you answers all the time. And that we need to be careful. We really need to be careful. And how you are careful is by actually being a good employee and being a good professional and actually knowing stuff beforehand. So it can help you having another perspective. It can help you having another approach or having a really good perspective. But I know it's wrong many, many times. I know it's wrong with some answers. I know that this is not good. And you actually talk and chat and say, hey, this is not good. This is not okay. And it replies you, actually replies and says, hey, you're right. I haven't checked this or it's not updated. So we truly need to be careful with what we actually take from GPT or chatbots. And then we use it as a definition. So be careful with that. I wouldn't say it can actually do our work, but it can actually be a companion. It can actually help you many, many things. Right. To be faster, to go deeper. But yeah.
When everyone's saying like AI is coming for our jobs, have you seen that to be true, especially in the knowledge work part of IKEA, or like, okay, we're not going to hire all these folks, or we're going to even like lay off all these people because we now have AI at our disposal? Is that actually something you're seeing play out, or does it enhance the value of your work greatly while doing it faster, doing it better? Like, is AI coming for our jobs?
No, it's not. It's coming for some of them, but there's always been like this. I mean, there's always a new technology that is coming for some jobs, and it's always going to be like this. So let's be clear as professionals that there's always going to be a new technology that it's going to do our work better and faster, and maybe we do our whole work, right? But new opportunities will come, new jobs will open, new things will be needed from us as people, as professionals. So I wouldn't say it's coming for our jobs. It's coming to enhance our jobs, and it's already here. I'm not afraid of that.
How do you help your teams to actually build what's useful, to synthesize the right data from all that is available? Is there like a rhythm you have, say, every quarter, every month, every week, we understand, analyze companies' data, we use it, look at the customer feedback that's coming in, we do research analysis? Like, how has that changed, if at all? Like, are the rituals that you had, let's say, years ago similar to where we are today? Or because AI is like co-facilitating all these discussions, there's less of that? Like, what has changed, if anything at all?
Hoshem, everything changed. Everything is different. The way we relate with each other, the way we have meetings. Remember those times like 3 or 4 years ago. It's not, I'm saying 10 or 15. It's like 3 or 4 years ago. We all needed to come to the office. We all needed to be present in our meetings together in person, in the same room. Today, everything changed. I mean, if you think about it, it's like, this is the future we thought about, and it came so fast, without having to travel so much, although we travel a lot, but without having to be in person every single time. That's a huge change. And then AI came to change it all again. Like in 3-4 years from that moment that Zoom and Teams came in with the pandemic, etc. Now AI came to change everything. So the way we analyze data is that, or the way we summarize things, that's truly something that AI can do, like summarize things or take notes from a meeting, or give me the key points of this meeting and what are the next steps. You can tell it's like your companion. It's like your secretary, like all the time, helping you make faster decisions, make maybe better decisions as well, optimize things. So being more creative, like for me, it's a really good thing what's happening.
Do you think that the companies with a full return to office policy, where everyone needs to be in office, are lacking behind, because the teams that are remote or hybrid have an advantage because they need these tools more than the people that need to come into the office every day, that are sitting together? Do you think there's a correlation between that? I mean, I don't know, even know that you are right now in the office as we're recording this, how many times a week you come in and for what reason. But like, how do you think about those companies that have like, you have to be in the company 5 days a week to do your work and there's no exceptions, versus, no, we can work from anywhere, we can collaborate together? Like, what is the delta there, and what role does AI play in this?
Yeah, what's the need? Maybe like, why do I have to go to the office? Right? That's a question you hear a lot. Like, why would I need to be there if we can do it the same digitally? And I have like a little bit of an opinion there. I think the balance is the perfect thing to do. I love being with people. I love being in person with someone, having a coffee, discussing things that I wouldn't do while I'm at home and he's at home or her is at home. So I think that you need to do a little bit of both. So I wouldn't say come every day to the office, because that things change in the world. Like, it's not needed anymore for us to come every single day. But I will say when we come to the office and we do a workshop together, it's much more productive. It's much more, it's much better to do it in person, right? The ideas flow. We talk with each other. We make comments to the one next to you, to the one on the other side. Like, you do that. And I don't think that that's in a video. You can do that in a video, right? So in that sense, I'm not saying, full come to the office or full home office. I will say for me, I like to work, in both places.
What about your team? Are they all in the same office? Like, if you're together, able to do that? Or do you have a team that is actually spread across the globe, so it's impossible by definition?
We have teams all around the world, because we speak with all franchisees. So we think about them as our team. So we have, like, it will be impossible for us to be everywhere. So in that sense, technology and video helped us a lot. And internally, we have 2 headquarters, one in the Netherlands and one in Sweden. So we have teams in both countries. So we work together with them all the time.
So by definition, you are working remote. What is can you share any of your tactics to make remote work actually work between your teams? Maybe something that people don't think is that obvious, but you found very useful in collaborating with so many different teams across the world. Like, can you share some of your tactics to make that work?
Yeah, try to know them in person at least once, I will say. I mean, we can know each other digitally, like, forever, and maybe that will be our, relationship. Hoshem and Martin will only know each other digitally. But I would say, if you continue working with someone, and if it's in your team and you have to talk with him, her every day, it's nice to know them in person, because it's totally different, your perspective and how you approach people when you know them in person. I think that's key. And I try to do it that way. So if I have a big project coming to work with China, for example, I'm flying to China next month, and I have a very big project with them. I like to be there with them at least once, know everyone, understand each other, know how they are in person. So that's a tactic I try to apply every single time. And I have the opportunity to do it as well.
Right. And it's a nice luxury to have that.
Yeah.
But even us, right? We're building a remote company. We see the same. Like, you have to bring teams together every now and then to really feel the energy, workshop through things together. And then months can go on with being in your home office or in your co-working, wherever you work from. But then you have to get back to your team. We're still humans to get that connection in. So, and the same goes for our customers. I mean, how do you get all your teams on the same page? Like, I imagine you don't look at dashboards every day all time long to understand your customers. Like, what are some of the things? Like, you have a global playground. You can go to any franchise store in the world to meet your customers anytime you want, which is a luxury, but it could also be like something that is a daunting task to continuously understand what they need. Like, what have you found to be useful in that context to really understand customers and getting your team to see things the same way? Like, can you share some of the things that you have done and implemented or work with to do that?
That's a big challenge, of course, to feel the customer's energy and vibe, and what are they doing and what they are looking at, what they are experiencing. You can only do that in person, right? So I think a great value I see in this office is that we are in the store, for example. So we work in a store. We have our office next to the store, and we have to walk. When we come into the office, when we check in every single day, we pass through the store. So that's massive. And that didn't happen to me like in any company I work in. And I'm telling you the big ones: McDonald's, Nike, Adidas. And on some occasions, people have never went to a store. They didn't even knew a store. Here, you have to go past the store, past customers. You can go through the the food area, right? You see people eating, people like having conversation, like you actually perceive the energy and the consumers. So that's really good. But then you ask me, okay, but that's just the Netherlands. That's just in Delft, right? So yeah, it's very difficult to have it in any other place unless you visit, unless you go and have that. Of course, you have all the MPS dashboards, and we can see every single day. We have screens everywhere that tells us, hey, people are happy, people are not. These are the sales in this specific store, and this is what happened, and this is what we did that actually engage into this result. So yeah, it's difficult. I would say to every country you visit, go to a store, try to be there, try to understand it, try to be like 1-2 hours as a customer, try to be a customer.
What are some other ways that bringing that vibe or that energy from what you experience firsthand to people who are not there? Like, are you capturing that in any way, sharing that back? Is there like a way for people who are not able to go to the store to tap into all of that? Like, is that something that you've invested in, or does it stay on? We have a lot of data and we have a lot of stores, and you should go to the store to really experience customers. Like, I'm sure there's ways in between, but what are some of the ways that actually work to bring emotional connection back to the data that you're seeing?
So yeah, data is limited in the physical world, right? It's more limited than what we have for our apps or websites, right? That's more limited. We can read a lot of insights and data and analyze it through our digital ecosystem. But then you say, okay, but what are the physical? What is going on? How are they reacting? What do they think? So today, with the incorporation of AI, there are several solutions. I think one of them is amazing, which is you can have cameras, and this is like something that is coming, it's a trend. You can have cameras in your store integrated with AI that can actually read behaviors, actually understand what's Hoshem. Not Hoshem, but that person or someone we don't know, because we're not going to use your face or whatever. But we can actually understand, hey, he has been 3 seconds looking at this, and then he grabbed it. Okay, that's a behavior. That's something that is happening, and we can analyze all these behaviors. So you can say, okay, he stayed 10 seconds, but he didn't grab anything. So, okay. So there might be a problem there, or there might be no information, or he was reading at something. And there are so many things that can happen, and so many things that we can explore and analyze. And that's been done by AI. So this is a great solution for all retailers. You see, like, you're actually incorporating a lot of data that can be analyzed and say, okay, if he stays 5 seconds, he's going to grab it. If he stays 10 seconds, he's doubting about it. If he has like a sale communication next to it, he will actually look at it and go and grab that product. So we can see all the movements around the stores. I'm not saying we're going to do it, or I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying that it's a huge trend that AI can bring, and for me, it's quite innovative.
Do you think we're going to be back to square one, like where we were with maybe digital design like 2 decades ago, where when I started designing, there were already some practices established, like understanding like, okay, sure, if you make the button a different color and make it bigger, people will click faster. But that's not really like how you do design. So, but in the beginning, it was really like, let's just optimize and see what works. And then some super ugly things worked and people had more conversion. Do you think like the same will happen with like these AI enabled solutions in the stores, where we deliberately slow down customers in their path so that we know they will take the item and then it will convert and they bought something they didn't want, but we basically hacked their journey by just shortcutting their mental circuits. And then we go like, okay, maybe we should apply actual design to improve the customer journey. Like, Where do you think this will go? Are we going to skip the stupid steps in between, or are we going to make the same mistake again, but now in a different part of the reality?
I will say people are clever. I will say we are all very clever and intelligent, and we all know when we want to see something and when we don't want to see something, and we all know when we have time to do it and we don't have time to do it. And we understand that we are getting into a store. And of course, the objective of store is to give you a great experience, but also in the end, it's to sell, right? And that's the definition of a business, right? So I would say that these hacks will always exist, but I think you need to be really, as a brand, you need to be really transparent and really well oriented in the sense of, hey, we're not going to get you into a labyrinth, and get you here for hours. No, that's not the intention. The intention is for you to have a good experience, be seamless if you want it to be seamless as a consumer, be easy if you wanted to do it easy, or do it longer and have a longer experience and have stay in the playground at McDonald's with your kids, or stay to have something to eat, or a coffee at IKEA, or go to the supermarket. And you know that the water and the Coca-Cola and everything, it's in the back of the supermarket. We know that we know that why they do it, because it's something you always go and buy. So you have to see everything while you are in that direction. So things will happen like this, but I think that we really need to be honest and have a good intention, and because in the end, consumers will understand the intention of it, right?
Yeah. But how, even this is a good example, but also in IKEA, having massive stashes of something also triggers some mental mode of oh, there's a lot. So if I take 1 or 2, maybe 10, that's good for me. And the routing, there are so many different things that, I don't know if you want to call it social or behavior hacking, or just optimizing for what humans do, like putting the water and the cola in the back of the supermarket. Do you think that's bad or good? I mean, consumers will figure it out. We do it anyway. We accept it. So where do you stand on this? Yes, the ultimate reality for a business is to produce a customer, to keep that customer for a long time, right? Customer lifetime value. It's the single one metric that matters most, especially in retail. So yeah, where can we set the boundary to what is okay to hack our mental pathways, and where should we put that boundary? Do you have a strong opinion of what is off limits and where we should put okay, this is as far as we may go?
Yeah, as I was saying, I think consumers are smart and they understand where they are getting into. And the instant you understand that you're being treated as, I don't know how to say, treated as a customer, just for the intention of selling to you and not for the intention of having a good experience, and you to decide, and that's totally on you. And I think you can tell. I think, when you go to these huge events and brands want to sell you something and they want to sell you a service and they want to sell you, you can tell. You can tell they are interested in something rather than having a good conversation or an experience with you. And I think brands should go in that direction. Always true to themselves, always true to the customer. Hey, this is how we do it. This is the McDonald's or Nike or Adidas or IKEA way. And that's how we sell stuff. That's our store logistic. And that's how it works. But yeah, being transparent and saying, hey, this is how we do it. It's your, it's your decision to come on in. It's your decision to do all the path and continue all the arrows, or just grab something and leave. There's always, be always true to the brand values. That's what I will say.
Nice. I love that. And that's a great way to end our conversation today. If people want to learn more about how you and your team, or how IKEA thinks about the customer experience, or want to learn how to do customer engagement well at scale, where can they find you or reach out to you? What's the best place to find you?
LinkedIn, I think that would be the best way. Martin Villanueva, I'm there. You can follow me. Yep.
Fantastic. We'll put links in the show notes to your profile. And Martin, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you, Hashem. It's been a pleasure.
All right, and that's it. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this valuable today, don't forget to subscribe to the Experience Edge on your favorite podcast channel, leave a review, and share it with your team. I'd be delighted. Today's episode was brought to you by Daydo, the AI journey management solution for enterprise. To have an edge on your business strategy and to know why your customers do what they do, visit daydo.com and explore more resources to accelerate your customer experience game. And remember, the journey to creating customer-centric impact never ends, and here's always a new edge to discover in doing things differently. Next week, new episode. Until then, keep pushing the edge and stay inspired. See you in the next episode.